If I'm driving from Karns City to Butler for anything, it's Chipotle. That's what I'm going for. Talk about.
I'd make that drive if there was rudders in town, but there's not. I am Butler Eagles sports writer Derek Pida, and here with me today are fellow sports writer Brendan Howe and Eagles sports editor Jake Murda Adams. This is Season 2 of the Alter Eagles Eye on Sports.
I stopped at the gas station there on the way
You
back.
have connections out east. Bring rudders to Butler.
You know the gas station in Chicora, like coming back?
Oh, yeah.
I stopped there and I got a slice of Oreo pie. That's what I got.
I get pizza there. Pizza there.
Bold moves. Gas station.
Nothing wrong with pie.
Come on now.
It's not gas station hot dogs.
So I have only been able to find, it looks like the stream for WPIAL bracket announcements is frozen at 6A girls. But I know that more has come out. So I'm trying to find the brackets for the rest of it. But I do know what it looks like for
it's not quite
boys.
the Super Bowl broadcast, huh?
It's not.
That HD camera for the Bad Bunny performance. I was thinking, like, I don't know who else thinks of this during the halftime show, but I was like, that camera is crystal clear. How do they make sure that all of that runs smoothly? Like, there's not, like, a hitch whatsoever.
Well, they do rehearsals, and they have really good producers who know exactly where he's going, when he's moving, and they have multiple cameras. And when I say multiple, I mean, like, multiple cameras.
When he was on stage, like, singing, and the camera, I think, with Lady Gaga, and the camera guys going around them, like, can you imagine just, like, bumping in and falling down? What a disaster that would be,
Mm-hmm.
But...
Well, yeah, when they do something like that, a friend of mine is a big producer in LA like that. She did one of the MTV Music Awards at the beginning. At the beginning, they had Gwen Stefani did this whole number where they were skating around. They had this big thing. She was a producer for that video at the beginning. It was the first time they ever did a live video recording at a award show, and she produced that. And it's really just about the rehearsals before, knowing exactly what angle, what camera, and calling like on camera too, especially when it's live. It's just a lot of strategy and preparation.
There was a switch up last night. I planned on watching the Super Bowl. My best friend's in Butler. He lives up
tell us exactly where he lives.
Main Street. Anyways, we're gonna get a Little Caesars pizza, sit down and watch together. But it was just gonna be me, him, and his girlfriend, who doesn't really talk much. So I'm serious.
Wow, that sounds fun.
I'm serious. Yeah. So Bailey told me months ago she didn't want to watch the Super Bowl. She just wasn't gonna watch it. So I'm getting ready to leave, and she turns on the Super Bowl, and she's like, "I want the Patriots to lose." It's like. So I'm leaving, and her and Rambo are watching the pregame and lead up to it.
Her and Rambo.
And I pull out. I pull out, and I'm thinking, I was like,
What was Rambo's reaction?
Yeah, what did Rambo think?
I was like, I'm gonna be late to get
that
to
first
Josh's.
half was rough.
Because I started stopping at the pizza. I was like, I'm gonna be late to get to Josh's. So I'm like, I literally drove out of my plan, and I called Josh. I said, "Do you care if I come? Like, you and Nicole are gonna be there?" He's like, "No, I don't care." So I turned around, I watched it with Bailey. I left about mid-fourth quarter, got back here, put the story on the page. We got pizza from a place in Mars that was not that good. I'm not going to say where it was, though.
Well, you just said a place in Mars.
There's plenty of places in Mars.
I'm going to have to cut that out.
There's plenty of places in Mars.
Are we actually recording? I thought we were paused
no, it's the camera is on, you guys. That's why I set it up that way, so we can just keep going. It's just easier that way. So, yeah, that was all.
Do we know boys at all?
We do know boys, at least our local matchups, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to kick it to you here.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready.
All right.
Do it.
So the WPIAL basketball brackets have been released today within the last hour or so, and Jake has some news for us. What teams we got involved and who they're playing.
So on the boys' side, we'll start there. Still trying to get the rest of the girls' bracket going, but Seneca Valley boys, obviously in. Mars boys in 5A gets a play-in, which is a big one there. And we've got Knoch and North Catholic in 4A, which we knew about because they were co-section champions. I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit one by one. I want to get to the girls 6A bracket in a minute here, but I'm going to start with Seneca Valley boys. They're the 4 seed, and they're going to host Hempfield area on next Thursday, the 19th, at a site and time to be determined. So
they're not hosting. You said hosting.
Yeah, they are hosting. Well, okay, they will be the home team
Okay,
at a site and time to be determined. As the 4 seed, they will be the home team. So 4 seeds seem fair for Seneca Valley based on what you guys saw this year?
Well, let me guess. Newcastle's 1?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know a ton about the other section.
Upper St. Clair, too.
Upper St. Clair. I know that below Newcastle in Seneca Valley section, there was just a bunch of teams that were like jockeying for position, jockeying for playoff spots. But at the same time, if you're the WPIAL and you look at that, and there's like 4 teams that made it that are all, 7-5, 6-6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't have 2 number 4 seeds. You can't have 2 number 3. You got to rank them in some way. And I guess Seneca Valley getting a number 4 is a little high, a little better than I thought they'd get. But, hey, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, Mr. Howe.
What I saw out of Seneca Valley this season when I covered them twice. Both was against Butler. They didn't have the upper echelon talent like Butler did with Gettinger and Forbes, but they're a team that their players have a very high floor, and obviously the ceiling is, like I said, not as up to Butler's, but they work together as a team. They play good defense. They held Butler's offense down, I think, in both games that I covered. So their team, they played tough against Newcastle. I think they lost to Newcastle in overtime once this season. I could be wrong about that. Mm-hmm. So they're a team that, even though they're not full of stars, that I feel like they can make a run.
I think they lost to Newcastle one time this year. I believe it was 45-38, and at that point, that was the lowest output from Newcastle in a game this year. So even though it was a loss, maybe the WPIAL selection committee looked at that and said, Newcastle's the number 1 seed. They are obviously capable of scoring a ton of points, and here's Seneca Valley held them to 45. And that could have had something to do with that 4 seed.
They're not unbeatable. Pine Richland beaten Newcastle late in the season. So Butler was saying after they lost to Pine Richland, were eliminated, we played the team that beat the team very closely. So I feel like this is a completely different vibe from Seneca Valley at this point in the season from last season. Remember last season, they were doing really well. They dropped off at the end. They literally fell off a cliff at the end of the season, 5 straight losses, including playoffs. And that was something I talked to them after they beat Butler at home a few weeks ago, that it's different this year. They learned from last year's mistakes, and we'll see how it kind of works out in the postseason.
They're definitely entering the playoffs with a lot more momentum. Last year, it was like they were not even treading water. They were literally going backwards.
Yeah.
And that they weren't able to pick things up in the playoffs. And as you mentioned, they lost their first playoff game. But this year they've got more going for them entering the postseason. So we'll see what that translates to once the games start.
And I'll clarify, too. I thought Newcastle was number 1. They are actually the number 2 seed, which means that Seneca Valley won't have to face them until a championship round or a medal round.
Upper St. Clair, number 1?
Upper St. Clair's number 1. They will host or be the home team for the play-in between Norwin and Fox Chapel. And then the winner of that game will get the Hempfield-Seneca Valley winner. Pittsburgh Central Catholic is the 3 seed. And they'll face Amani Christian or North Hills, and Newcastle will face Mount Lebanon or Pine Richland next. 5A bracket, skipping through that a little bit here just to get to the Mars game. They will face Greater Latrobe in one of the play-in games on Thursday at 7. So that'll be an interesting one to watch here. Just trying to get the rest of this bracket up here real quick. The number 1 seed, Chartiers Valley, they have a bye. So does number 2, Lincoln Park. Number 3, Thomas Jefferson, and number 4, Moon are the top 4 seeds there, just to kind of give you a sense of what that looks like. But Mars getting a playing game. What are you guys' thoughts on getting at least another game of Austin Wroblewski and company?
Austin, I know he's over 900. We were talking about this off the air a few minutes ago. Kobe Philippi is supposed to get me the exact number at some point today, because we're obviously trying to track the kids in our coverage area who have a chance of getting to 1,000. My guess, he's somewhere in between 920 and 930. A play-in game, it is what it is. You're basically going up against a team that's basically in the same boat as you. Mm-hmm. So I would not be surprised at all if Mars finds a way to beat Latrobe. Now, you win that game, and you're going to be playing one of the better seeds, and that's obviously where things could get a lot more difficult for Mars. But, Wroblewski has a shot, but they definitely need to make a run. He's not going to go out and score 65 points against Latrobe. At least I don't think so.
South Fayette was highly seeded when they played them last year, and I covered that game, and they ended up upsetting them. I think they came within a game of making the WPIAL championship. So I guess we can't judge that Mars book by its cover, even if they're playing in the play-in, because they have that sort of playoff pedigree where even under a first-year head coach last year, who's still their head coach, and Kobe Filippi, they know how to win in the postseason. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a run either. Austin's a really good player. The player that a lot of teams last year, I'm guessing, I didn't cover them this year, but a lot of teams have been keying in on this year. They still have Ben Dedish and some others. So don't be surprised if they make some noise too.
So 4A boys, we got number 1 Quaker Valley and number 4 Derry are 2 of the top 4 seeds. I'm skipping intentionally because North Catholic gets the bye as the 2 seed, the other bye, and Knoch is the 3 seed against 14 East Allegheny, which means Knoch and North Catholic round 3 could happen as soon as the semifinals.
Wow.
So one of the things that I heard or was reading kind of in theory when they were, Pittsburgh sites are doing the projections of what the brackets are going to look like is, does North Catholic get a higher seed just because of reputation being always a perennial WPIAL contender, it seems like. Did that play a factor, you think? Derek, you've seen both of these games here. North Catholic and Knoch played to a 1-1 draw. So do you think that North Catholic deserves the slightly higher seed?
I would say, it's just my opinion. It's incredibly humble. As you guys know, I'm Mr. Humble.
Yes.
The 2 teams split with each other this year. Knoch beat North Catholic back in, I think it was like the first week in January, and North Catholic turned around and beat Knoch last week. If you would have flipped those results, if North Catholic would have won a month ago and Knoch beat North Catholic just a week ago, I think it would be flip-flopped. I think Knoch would be the 2 seed and North Catholic would be 3. The fact that North Catholic's victory over Knoch is more recent. It's last week. I think that had a lot to say in the order of Knoch and North Catholic and what they're entering the playoffs with seed-wise.
Like I say, it seems every year the team that we're covering latest into the postseason is North Catholic girls and North Catholic boys, or in last year's case, I think it was the same. I feel like Jim Morocco has built enough of a reputation there. His teams that maybe they do get the nod. I agree with what you say there, Derek. I feel like recency does kind of play in. What's going through my head is the point differential in those games. Do you know how much each team beat each team by? Do you remember?
When Knoch beat North Catholic, they beat them 65-56, so 9 points. And when North Catholic beat Knoch last week, it was 61-55, so 6 points.
I would have played in the point differential.
Splitting hairs there if you're looking at point differential.
One three-pointer. I think that would be a very entertaining, especially semifinal matchup. Would the higher seed host set be North Catholic?
Well, I don't know about host, but would be the home team.
Well,
I'm gonna guess it's
either way
at that point.
Where would they put that game at? You try to put it like in between North Allegheny,
Freeport.
There you go.
Knox student section said when I talked to them that they travel better than anybody in the county. So wherever it is, count on them showing up. The drum line won't be there like we were talking about,
Pep
but
band.
You can't have everything.
They definitely showed up for that game at North Catholic a month ago. I mean, there was at least 50 kids for Knoch, and they were going nuts, and they were rewarded with a victory by their Knights that night. But again, North Catholic just returned the favor last week. So 4A is definitely going to be fun to watch, especially since we got 2 teams involved.
Would you guys care to take a guess as to which of those 2 teams will go the farthest if you were feeling it gutsy today?
I'd say North Catholic.
North Catholic?
I'd say North Catholic just for the fact that they'll have to play fewer games. Like, that bye probably does do something, especially for a sport where you play 3 times a week. You get a little bit of time off. I'm sure that'll help.
All right, so we're still working on getting what the girls' brackets look like right now. I do have 2 of them so far. 6A girls is the one that we definitely know. Seneca Valley, our only team in. Obviously, we expected Butler not to make it even as a wild card, basically. But I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on this. We know how good that team has been all year. Didn't necessarily expect them to get the number 1 seed, but Seneca Valley is seeded 4th. They will play as home team against number 5 Pine Richland. I'm a little bit surprised by this, I guess, just from what I've seen covering one of their games. You guys have been to, I think, a handful too. I would have thought this is a team that could have been a little bit higher seeded, but ahead of them is Cannon McMillan at number 1. Number 2 is Norwin, and number 3 is Upper St. Cloud. Norwin obviously went to the state championship or semifinal a couple years ago, still has a pretty decent roster from what I can tell. I'm not necessarily surprised by that, but I could have seen like Seneca Valley going up ahead of Upper St. Clair, maybe, in my opinion.
Seneca Valley had a chance to win their second straight section title with an undefeated section record.
Mm-hmm.
And who stopped them last week? Pine Richland. So you got two teams that just went up against each other. Pine Richland wins to grab a share of the section title. They had to share it with Seneca Valley, and now they're playing each other in the first playoff game. That's crazy. That's the third time they would have played each other this year. That's crazy.
When I covered Butler Pine Richland last week, Mark Mayer told me that I haven't covered Seneca Valley this year, so I'm not familiar with how big they are. But Pine Richland has two girls that play in the post that are like, I think 6 foot. So when I was talking to Mark Mayer last week, he said it looked like it was a college team versus a 7th grade team. So that just goes to show Pine Richland scores in different ways, and it seemed like they were a pretty solid team when I covered them. So that should be an entertaining matchup.
So you're saying Pine Richland is the 5 seed?
Pine Richland is 5, yeah.
Wow.
I understand that the WPIAL, especially at 6A, is a lot smaller, so it's harder to get away from section versus section matchups, and even in that first round.
There's only 8 teams.
Yeah,
girls.
But I don't like. Why would I want to put that matchup right in the first round? If I'm WPIAL bracket masters here, like I'd want to set that up later or try to avoid it, especially because they just faced each other a week ago. Like it'd be one thing if it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's like, okay, we don't really have a choice here, but a week ago,
right? I'm not talking down on Seneca Valley at all here. I think they've got a very good team. They haven't won a playoff game since February of 2006. So we're talking 20 years here. But I'm just saying the fact that they tied Pine Richland for the section title, both teams were 9-1, and Pine Richland just beat Seneca Valley. I thought the Rams would actually have a better seed.
Yeah,
we just talked about North Catholic getting a better seed than Knoch, and North Catholic just beat Knoch. In this case, you have a Pine Richland team that beat Seneca Valley to grab a share of the section title, and yet Seneca Valley's still seeded higher, even though it's a 5-4 game. It's like splitting hairs there. But, yeah, I haven't covered Pine Richland at all this year. You said that they have some girls inside in the paint. Seneca Valley held Pine Richland to just 28 points in the first meeting this year. This was back in early January, and Pine Richland just turned around and got revenge by beating Seneca and grabbing a piece of that section title. So that's a very interesting first-round matchup. Of course, there's only 8 teams, so we're talking quarterfinal.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that they just met on the court to decide the section championship, now they're playing each other in a playoff game, that's a very quick turnaround, and both teams obviously know each other very well, being section opponents. And I like to cover that game, Jake. Just throwing it out there.
Okay, I hear you. Brendan, you want to call dibs on something while we're at it?
No, we'll wait.
All right. I'm still working to figure out what the 4A girls bracket was. It looks like the KDKA stream died in the middle of discussing the 6A bracket. A lot of people complaining on social media about the quality of the broadcast and the announcements. So
is 5A up?
5A, all I could find is the Mars matchup from Trinity. I think Trinity actually posted the full bracket, so I can't say 5A is there. Let me see if I can pull that back up again real quick. But for right now, 4A we're a little bit in the dark about. There's a couple announcements that I've seen so far, but not enough to give me a full picture, and it doesn't include North Catholic, and we're expecting Knoch is in it, right?
Freeport is.
Freeport.
Knoch is not. Yeah. They actually played each other this past week, Knoch and Freeport girls, and I believe if Knoch would have won that game, they would have been in the playoffs. They would have tied Freeport for a spot, but as it turned out, Freeport won, so Knoch's out, Freeport's in. We were talking a few times this year about the bad start that Mars girls basketball got off to. At one point, I believe they were 0-3 in the section play, and I can't give an affirmative like year. This is the last time Mars girls basketball missed the playoffs, but we're talking it's been like over 30, 35 years. I think it was the late 80s the last time they missed the playoffs, and as it turns out, they responded. I think they won their last 4 section games, Mars did, to finish, I think it was 6-6.
I believe so. Yeah.
To make the playoffs. So I don't know how long of a run Mars girls are going to make it, but the fact that the girls were, I mean, they had dug themselves a hole back in, any section games played before Christmas, early January. They were 0-3, and they fought back, and they found a way to make the playoffs. So congrats to them. We'll just have to see how far they can go. Last year they pulled off a couple upsets, so we'll see.
They're going to have to pull off a big one again here. I do have their bracket. They are the 14th seed. They will visit Indiana at Indiana on Friday at 7.
Brendan, that's yours.
It's a drive.
The other end of that bracket, who they would face in the quarterfinals, would be Penn Trafford or Franklin Regional. It looks like Thomas Jefferson is the 2 seed, and South Fayette is the 1 seed, and I believe that leaves Baldwin as the 4 seed. So that's what the outline of the 5A bracket looks like. This is a little bit fuzzy. Thank you to Trinity Athletics for posting something out there. It's just really grainy to see because I have to zoom in quite a bit. So we're trying to piece this together as we go. But yeah, thoughts on Mars?
Playoff time's here. Playoff time is here. I'm excited. Seneca Valley, Pine Ridge. Where are they going to stick that game if it's neutral site? I mean, those two schools are like, 12 miles apart?
Well,
NA.
My thoughts here as we go
PIAA would go Slippery Rock.
Yeah, Slippery Rock.
My thoughts on this is like why does there have to be a selection show for high school basketball? Like just give us the clear brackets. Nobody's like, I mean, people are watching. Like you're trying to watch it, but like nobody's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being grumpy. So
I
do you have a clear thought on that?
Just give us the clear brackets. Like release them and everybody can just read them. You don't have to have people talk about it until we see it and talk about it.
It's like a selection show.
Yeah.
It's Selection Monday.
Do you have a muddy viewpoint on this instead of a clear view?
You just want me to like mumble into the microphone for a little while?
No,
I'm just playing with words here. All right, I see North Catholics here. Let's see if I can pull this up. 4A brackets are out, it looks like. All right, North Catholic has the 3 seed. They will face Laurel Highlands on Monday next week.
Pride of Fayette County.
Pride of Fayette County at 7 o'clock. Laurel Highlands is the 14 seed. Freeport gets the 10 seed and will visit South Park on Monday as well.
That's also yours.
Number 7. South Park and Freeport get the luxury of facing number 3 or number 2 Oakland Catholic in the quarterfinals. So good luck there. The 1 seed is Blackhawk and the 4 seed is Bella Vernon.
Okay. What seed did Freeport girls get?
10.
Okay. That's better than they did last year. I think last year they were a 14 seed. I covered their game. It was down against Beaver, at Beaver, and they got crushed. But I remember talking to coaches. They're coaching a couple players after the game. Nia DeSanti was one of them. And for the players coming back, I said, this is a learning experience. I mean, you got to the playoffs. You got beat by, they got crushed. It was like literally like a 35-point game. But any adversity that you face, if you can say, hey, we can take this, we can use this moving forward. So we'll see what Freeport can do with their playoff spot this year. It's definitely a better seed than they received last year. Last year they were one of the bottom seeds.
Yep. It should be. I don't think we're going to see a Freeport North Catholic semifinal. Is that fair to say? Or if we're thinking about how this might play out, does it look like Oakland Catholic versus North Catholic on the girls' side to make it to that semifinal?
Yeah, and if that's the case, I love North Catholic. I love the tradition they have there. Molly Rotman is an incredible coach, but last year Oakland Catholic crushed North Catholic in twice, once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. So we've had a number of years where, Brendan, you know this, where North Catholic has made the championship game. I'm talking girls here. But now they've got Oakland Catholic that's kind of standing in the way if they make it to that semifinal. If they beat Oakland Catholic, they get to the championship game. North Catholic would definitely have to pull off an upset. Oakland Catholic would be the favorite team in that matchup. Oakland
Catholic beat North Catholic earlier this year, December 11th, 43-21, which I'm going to guess is the lowest output of North Catholic season.
I would concur there.
So, any other thoughts on the WPIAL brackets now that we know what our local teams are up against?
Is that another North Catholic score there? Because they're in the same section.
Yeah, it's let me see. They lost to Oakland Catholic on January 15th, 50-36, which I'm going to guess is also one of their lowest outputs of the year.
So Molly Rotman has all that experience. She played at North Catholic. She knows basketball in and out, offense, defense. She knows what Oakland Catholic has. If they meet in the semifinal, I'm going to be interested to see what changes do they make, or is it a question of simply having the players go out and play better? Mm-hmm. Or is it something scheme-wise that they can come up with to stay close with Oakland Catholic? Because Oakland Catholic, the Eagles are incredibly strong, and that would be an interesting matchup to see. Two Catholic schools going up against each other for the right to play for the WPIAL championship. We'll see how it turns out.
Absolutely. Brendan, any final thoughts?
I covered that Oakland Catholic, North Catholic postseason game at Fox Chapel last year, and it went about as you said it did. So, that'd be an interesting one, especially being that North Catholic usually isn't the underdog, I feel like, especially in the time I've been here. Of course, there's state semifinals last year. I've lost in state semis a few times, but there's very few games where you go in and are not confident that they can win.
Mm-hmm.
Don't play with this thing. It makes noise.
I'm not twisting it.
Upsets happen all the time. Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion quarterback. Who would have thought that 10 months ago?
Not me. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago.
My dad said he put 20 cents on that game last night because that's all he had left. He played a parlay. Like, Seahawks win, Darnold throws for at least $250, and he bet the over-under. I think he lost. So
he's going to win like $1.05 off of it.
He said if he won all three, he was going to get like $1.50 back.
I haven't made a sports bet since 2 Augusts ago. I'm pretty proud to say that.
We have two members of Karns City girls basketball joining us this week on the Eye on Sports podcast. Head coach Steve Andreassi on the right and senior forward Naomi Venesky on the left. Naomi last week became the 11th player in program history to reach 1,000 career points. Steve and Naomi, we appreciate you both taking time to speak with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate what you guys do. Obviously, the local coverage that you guys give us. The Butler Eagle does a great job, so we'd be glad to be on this podcast with you guys.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words. Naomi, there are names on the 1,000 point list that resound when it comes to the history of Karns City girls basketball. All-time leading scorer Emily Hedges, Katie Keppel, two members of that 2000 state championship team, and Courtney Radigan and Carissa Kusick. Describe the feeling that comes with knowing that you are now a member of that very exclusive list.
It feels awesome that I could reach such goals. I know some of the people up there personally, and I just know their names. So to be a part of it feels great.
Steve, Naomi's turned in a really good senior season, obviously. 17 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. That's a big jump up from last year when she was averaging 11 points and 10 boards. What's taken her game to another level? What has she improved most between this time last year and now?
Obviously, physically, I don't think she's changed in 4 years. She plays the same way. If you've been to see her play, she plays fast, she plays hard, she doesn't quit, she doesn't slow down. I think she has developed more than anything this year is her IQ for the game and how to attack the game and how to score, because we're going to see different defenses, which we may talk about later, but she had to evaluate what she was weak at, and I think that was her off-season goals, and I think so she's thought about the game more, she's studied the game more, so it's probably the mental part that has improved more than anything.
Naomi, with getting to 1,000 points, does it mean a little bit more for you with the team success you guys have had so far this season? 19-2 going into this week. You're obviously a lock for District 9 playoffs, probably a favorite to win the title. Does the individual accomplishment kind of mean a little bit more with what the team has done so far?
I mean, yes and no. Like, obviously, they helped me get to where I am now with the 1,000 points, and I don't think it'll change how our mindset is. Like, now that I've reached it, like, we still have the mindset that we're going to win no matter what, no matter who scores or whatever happens. Like, that's just how our mindset is. We play as a family. It doesn't matter if one person scores the whole night or if one doesn't. Like, we all just work together as a team.
Steve, you guys' lineup is a little younger this year. You have a freshman in Taylor Ritzert and 2 sophomores in Olivia Farron and Maddie Mahood that have seen expanded roles. How have you seen Naomi respond to them and likewise, like the other way around?
Yeah, Naomi and Hannah Daly too, the other senior. You can't tell difference of who's seniors, who's freshmen. I said that last year about our senior group. I thought they treated the younger girls well, and these two, Naomi and Hannah Daly. The other day I saw Naomi and Taylor up on the top row of the bleachers with their headphones on, and they were having their own little conversation up there, and it was like the world was lost to them. And here's a 14-year-old girl and a almost 18-year-old girl acting like they've known each other for years. And so I think that's how Naomi and Hannah, as we call her, Stretch, that's how they just treat everybody, I think. So, and those girls, the younger girls, have really taken to them as well.
Steve, at what point in your coaching career did you realize, like, I don't relate to these kids anymore?
About 20 years ago. No, you know what? I think I did feel that when I was coaching boys, and that was 16 years ago. I coached the boys from like 03 to 10, and I had a young family at the time. I had a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and it was time for me to step away. But I felt like maybe I was unrelatable to the boys. And then, I came on as a volunteer in the girls, and I was like, I don't know, that I feel like I can communicate better with them. And every year I might think about when is time going to just say, okay, it's time to move on. And I don't have that desire at all. And I think it's because of girls like this one and the rest of them. They make it fun for me. So I have yet to get to that point.
You mentioned earlier that Naomi hasn't really had to change much of her game physically, but what has she had to change in terms of tactics over the years, and especially this year with what defenses may be thrown against her? What are the junk defenses that you're seeing that Naomi's had to evolve against and still figure out how to beat?
Well, it's funny because I'm watching film of our opponent tomorrow, Du Bois Central, and they played a triangle 2 against their last 2 opponents. We have yet to see that. We saw box in 1 a couple times, and basically what the other team will do is just have somebody get in her face and not leave. They'll just face guard her. But we haven't really seen a lot of junk defense as well. I feel like it's coming. And these teams that we've competed against in the KSAC at the District 9, we got to play again. So we got an offense. We actually ran against Brookville the other night, even though they were just playing straight up man. We got an offense to hopefully run against that. And what we're trying to do is, yes, Naomi is a workhorse. She's going to outwork the other team. And she's going to find a way to get an offensive rebound. She's going to beat them up the court. That's her 2 strengths as far as a defender trying to lock her down. Is she's faster than them, and even for a girl that's 5'6.5", she seems to outjump most girls. But the way to beat a junk defense is have our other girls score and our other girls be successful. And then that opens the door up for Naomi. But she's going to get her points. She's proven that no matter what the defense is.
Naomi, some players find a comfort level as a starter and solid contributor on a team and settle into that role for their entire career. My question for you is, as a freshman and sophomore, did you envision yourself becoming a leader for the team as a junior, as a senior, and was it a role that you looked forward to moving into?
Yes, as a freshman coming in, I mean, I didn't really think that I was going to be like starting as early as I did, obviously, because we had seniors then. But I knew that that's where I wanted to be. And I knew that I would have to work my butt off every single day in practice, whether it was at an in season practice or off season or during AAU. I always got in the gym. I pushed myself to be the greatest I can be, and I never just sat comfortable where I was. I always put the work in to be where I am now.
So to kind of set up my next question here, I was obviously there on Friday night, talked to you guys both after the game and what you were able to accomplish. Naomi, could you bring us through scoring that 1,001st point and kind of what happened afterwards? Because it was a pretty hectic scene for about 25 seconds.
I just remember turning around shooting, and then Hannah Daly comes over to me. She's jumping on me, and everyone else is running towards me. Brookville's trying to take the ball out. And I turn around and I just see Steve winding his arm up. Let's go, let's go. I'm like, what? What's happening? I was like, guys, let's go, come on. So then we're still playing defense. And then finally it stops, and then we got like the moment. So it felt pretty good.
Yeah, I take the blame for that. So I just felt like and I don't know why I felt like this, but when you score your 1,000 point, it should have been dead ball immediately. And I was like, well, when we played Red Bank earlier this year, the girl from Addie Bond scored her 1,000, right? Mm-hmm. And we didn't stop the game until the next dead ball. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this gives the other team a chance to make a play because the whistle hasn't blown. Well, in the end, I realized, and the biggest mistake, I didn't tell these girls.
Yeah, no idea whatsoever.
I told the clock operator, I told the scorekeeper, I told the referees, but I didn't tell my team that, hey, we're going to wait till the next dead ball. And had I told them that, it might have looked less awkward. But in the end, I don't know why I didn't think we just stop it when she scores her 1,000. That's a monumental minute. So, yeah, that was my bet.
Yeah, and you made the point to tell me that it wasn't a distraction, her coming in and needing those 3 points, the entire run-up to it. And then I kind of said that there was the ironic twist that it was distraction for maybe 2 seconds afterwards, which I thought was pretty funny. But the game gets stopped. The student section was chanting your name, Naomi. They have a nice banner for you. You get to take the pictures. What did that all mean to you to see and we wrote about the student sections a few weeks ago and talked to Karns City, and obviously they're always there for you guys. What did that mean to you for your student body and for everyone to kind of support you in that way?
It's great because to have a community that comes to watch your games, whether it's a Monday night after work or just like the students coming in after school after they're done with their extracurriculars, it feels great to just have those people come in and cheer for you and be on your side and help you go against like the rivalry that we have against these schools. So yeah.
Yeah, and so as I was waiting to talk to Naomi after the game, it seemed present after present after present, like it was Christmas morning. She's being handed things. What was your favorite present that you got? Was there like a lot of candy, or what was in there?
I got a lot of energy drinks. My whole mini fridge is filled with energy drinks.
What's the story behind that? Why energy drinks?
I don't know. I just have one every game. Yeah, I love them.
She drinks them right before every game.
Every game. It's like basically like my snack before the game. It boosts me up, I guess. I don't know.
Steve, we've talked about Taylor a bit, obviously Naomi here today. Is there anyone else on the team that's going to be particularly important once the playoffs get here?
Oh, yeah. We don't go very deep. And, the other night, Brendan, you saw Liv Farron stepped in the first quarter and gave us a big boost, 3 buckets, end up with 9 points. She's a sophomore. Maddie Mahood is the other sophomore who started the other half of the games when Liv hasn't. She guards posts. She can make some 15-footers. She makes big plays without having to score. Those two are going to be very important, obviously. Then along with the rest of the starters, and after that, we have a freshman, Audrey Higginbottom, that has played a few minutes here and there, and we'll probably have to feed her in case foul trouble or such. But when we start playing these playoff games are on the college court, so the thirst of and the energy of the place is going to make them winded quicker. So we will probably need Audrey. But basically, we've done a great job. These girls have of not really getting in foul trouble this year. So we've been lucky. We've only had to have a couple games where we've had to sit, in the first quarter or so. I think that goes along with the IQ.
Naomi,
she's only been in foul trouble once all year, I think, right? Maybe twice.
I think I fouled out of a game.
Oh, she did foul out.
Naomi, we've covered you so much in volleyball and basketball over the years, and now we know that you've got a big passion for energy drinks. What else are you interested in off the court? Off the court especially.
I mean, I like going to Taco Bell.
So I actually heard
my teammates.
I actually heard some of like the football seniors say they like going to Taco Bell during senior night during that season. Where is the nearest Taco Bell to you guys? Is it Butler, or do you guys have to drive to Clarion?
Yeah, we usually go to Butler.
That's quite the drive for Taco Bell.
I don't know if you've ever been in the Shakora, Karns City area in daylight, but there is nothing here. What else besides Taco Bell?
Hanging out with my family, really. I don't really do much.
If you knew her...
Stop.
Her little brother, he's a hoot. Maybe not so much, but...
I'm sure you guys know him. He's always running around on the court afterwards. So.
AJ. He's entertaining, so maybe that's part of her entertainment on the weekends.
Naomi, I know obviously you're hoping that the postseason run for your team is a long one. When this season does end, is that going to be it for you in basketball, or are you hoping to play in college?
No, I am definitely going to be playing in college. Hopefully I can figure out where I'm going soon. I would like to continue my career with it.
Well, we appreciate the time. We know you guys got to run to practice here and get ready for your next game, and obviously the postseason right around the corner. But congratulations, Naomi, and thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
I got the unders on both first half and total game. Proud of those bets.
All right, Mr. Howe. Are you ready?
Yes.
I promise next week we're going to have a non-football question for you, but I'm still kind of in football mode here. The Super Bowl was just played. Your question: there have been 6 quarterbacks who have won multiple Super Bowl MVP awards. You have to name 4 of the 6. Multiple MVP awards in the Super Bowl. Name 4 of the 6.
All right, I'll think about that.
Okay. Speaking of, so we got the it's time for the Beyond Butler section, where we talk about something outside of Butler County, whether it be pro or college sports. And of course, we're less than 24 hours removed from the great Sam Darnold bringing a Super Bowl championship back to Seattle in his first year with the Seahawks. Yes.
Congratulations.
I called it back in August.
You were rooting
Brennan,
for the Patriots.
But believe me, I'm surprised that our own Mr. Howe here does not have his Seattle Seahawks hoodie on. We know he has it.
I'm wearing gray pants. I don't want to wear it all gray, So
that's the reason.
What are your thoughts on last night's Super Bowl? There was a time there where I thought I'm watching the first shutout in Super Bowl history.
I thought so too. I actually texted one of my best friends, and my other boss is he was actually at the game last night, so that was cool for him. But I texted, I was like, are we gonna see a shutout? And both of them said no. They were right. A lot of people were complaining throughout the game, oh, this is a boring Super Bowl. This is like Rams Patriots in 2019. It's I would rather see a boring Super Bowl. I texted my friends, I said, I would rather see this game be 12-0 and 4 field goals and Seattle win it than be exciting and New England win it. So
okay.
It wasn't the most entertaining Super Bowl, and I've said this, I texted my friends and I also said this, Super Bowls don't seem as magical anymore. There always used to be one play that defined the whole game, Julian Edelman catching that ball against Atlanta and that whole snowball that happened. Like Mario Manningham catching that ball on the sideline from Eli Manning against Patriots.
David Tyree putting glue on his helmet and catching that ball.
Yep.
Steelers, Cardinals had 2 with James Harrison returning that pick at before half, and then Santonio Holmes catching the ball. Like, I'm sure last year was magical for you, but there's not one play.
Such aggression.
There's not one play that I can remember from last year's Super Bowl where I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's just so memorable.
Well, that game was also like a domination too. There wasn't anything that there was no Philly special, quarterback flea flicker play. There was no Tom Brady dropping a pass. There was no touchdown in the back of the end zone last year. Like the Eagles just kind of dominated.
I also felt it was weird that the whole first half of the Super Bowl was played in daylight. So that was odd for me. It's West Coast. There's not much you can do about it, but I don't know. I didn't enjoy that.
The Super Bowl for the first 15, 16 years was played
at like noon.
It was like a 2 o'clock start. 2 o'clock start. So if you played on the East Coast, like there was a ton of Super Bowls played in the Orange Bowl, you wouldn't get like darkness until fourth quarter, like where it started getting dark. But the first, you've seen clips of Lynn Swann in Super Bowl 10. Mm-hmm. That's in the sunshine. Yep. I mean, there's shadows all over the place because it was a sunny day and the game started at like 2 p.m.
I just feel like under the lights is cooler.
It definitely is. I thought that Seahawks Kenneth Walker had a great game, and I thought the same thing with the Giants Super Bowl back in 2009 or whatever when they upset the undefeated Patriots. Like, just give it to the defensive line, the MVP, because the Seahawks defensive line destroyed Drake May, destroyed that running game. Did the Patriots even run for 50 yards last night?
It was like 75, I think.
75? It didn't feel it. They were getting smothered all game. Drake May was sacked 3 times in the first 20 minutes of action. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a crazy number. The one thing that I was kind of enjoying on the Patriots end of things is Milton Williams, who was a former Eagle. He walked last year as a free agent. The Eagles couldn't afford to pay. Going into this season, they're going to have to pay 2 of their defensive tackles. He would have been number 3. They just had to kind of let him go based on the numbers. And he was just eaten last night against Seattle. He was the one really good defender for New England, at least up front. And I thought Christian Gonzalez, obviously at corner, was holding Jackson Smith and Jigba in check all game pretty well. But that Seattle defensive front was just a menace. And my one thought was, now owners next year are going to suddenly pivot and be like, we need the next young 30-something-year-old defensive coordinator to be our head coach because Mike McDonald just pulled a Mike Tomlin. And it's going to swing back here in a little bit, but I don't know. I still don't think that's going to happen, but that was kind of funny to see former D coordinator just scheme up a brilliant plan against those Patriots.
Well, last night kind of told me too, is like there is hope for teams. Like the Patriots and Seahawks are both teams that they let go of the coach that they won Super Bowls with, and Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. Obviously, you had to take one more step to get to Vrabel, but like there is a path for teams such as the Steelers, and I'm not throwing hope out there. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but like there is a path for teams to turn it around that quickly and win with defense. Steelers are paying a lot on defense, and win with a running game. And if the Steelers keep Kenny Gainwell, you got a pretty good running game too. So I liked seeing, even though it was the Patriots, it still felt like different teams were in the Super Bowl because you get tired of seeing the Chiefs every year, and I was happy not to see the Eagles in there. But like I like when it just seems different. It's cool.
I think it's just become personal for Brendan now. His boss is an Eagles fan, and he just can't stand
I got to see you cheer for the Eagles and enjoy this exact day last year.
Just came in playing the Eagles fight song on my phone.
The show that's on in the morning on ESPN is called Get Up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was watching that today, and I don't watch ESPN nearly as much as I used to because to me it's just a bunch of guys, for the most part, just screaming and yelling at each other, kind of like we do here. But this is our thing. And one of the questions that they were asked and they were commenting on is how much has Drake May's stock fell? He got to the Super Bowl as a second-year quarterback. And he didn't get any protection last. I mean, you said that. I mean, it's not like he was up here going into the game. Now I'll bench him. He's not any good.
Everything's either or. So
people like to talk in extremes.
I saw Cam Newton say that Sam Darnold's now a top 5 quarterback, which is just preposterous.
He played really well. I mean, they didn't throw a ton, but he played well.
I think compared to what people thought of Sam Darnold 2 years ago, or even going into this passing, I know he had that really good year with Minnesota in 2024, but the fact that he's gone from, oh, this guy's a bust, his career might be over, or maybe he's going to end up being like a career backup. Now he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He has had an incredible turnaround to his career, and not that I'm a Seattle fan. I don't have a hoodie like you do, but it's a great turnaround for an individual player that everybody was just writing off a couple years ago.
I was really indifferent going into this game just because there was something about Seattle that I just wasn't really entranced by. But then also at the same time, it's not the Brady Belichick Patriots anymore, but I want more time before they win again. Just because,
I want them to never win again.
Yeah, you've had your chance. You had your 20 years. Give everyone else a shot for a little bit. But I eventually came around to man, this would be really funny if Darnold won it and all these teams that just threw him in the trash over the last 4 years have to eat it now. And he played, I thought, a really good game. He took some risky throws, but none that looked like they were really going to be intercepted. Just took a chance on something. Most of them didn't cash in, but played the game that they needed him to play. And they won.
There's hope for those journeyman retread quarterbacks out there. 2027, Justin Fields, Super Bowl champion.
With who?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right. Hey, I want to throw one thing out there. You talk about the Patriots winning a lot. Obviously, they're tied with the Steelers, right, for the most titles. They also now have the most Super Bowl losses of any team. They're 6-6. No other team has 6 Super Bowl losses.
Who's second in most Super Bowls made? Is it the Steelers? Do they have 7 or 8?
They have made 8.
8?
They've made 8 because they're 6-2 in Super Bowl.
That's got to be number 2. Packers have made
Cowboys are probably somewhere under there.
4 or 5. Yeah, Cowboys would be around there.
Wait, how many Super Bowl rings do the Patriots have?
6.
They have 6, right?
Yeah,
they're tied with us.
Tom Brady has 7.
But they also have the most Super Bowl losses.
Yes.
And I believe they're in that category all by themselves. They have 6 losses. So.
Way too early predictions. Who's in the Super Bowl next year?
You want me to answer with my heart or my head?
Whichever you want.
We're all sitting here
My heart, Pittsburgh against whoever the NFC wants to try to put against us. My head, oh jeez. I'm gonna surprise you here. Green Bay.
Okay.
And New England. How about that?
Okay.
No.
Rematch of Super Bowl 31.
I'd say Rams, Ravens.
Is Stafford back for another year?
Yes.
Derek's in his recycling era right now. It's just all the old 80s movies being brought back. It's now all the old 80s and 90s Super Bowls being brought back. I'm gonna say Rams and the AFC is just kind of a mess.
Cleveland Brownies.
Cleveland.
Well, the colors on the thing are turquoise and orange. They released the logo
Super Bowl
today.
61.
And
okay.
For the record, they're going back to fun logos. It seems
Yeah.
like there's a wave for the LA Super Bowl. It's so much better than just the gray, silver Super
blues
Bowl
and reds.
Yeah,
and
Where is the Super Bowl next year?
SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
So
didn't they just host it 4 years ago?
2021.
How about if Rams get there, that's their home stadium.
Yeah.
So who are you picking them against?
Rams. I'll say Bills for right now.
He wants to say Raiders. I mean, he's like, oh, I want to say Raiders. They got Clint Kubiak as their head coach now, fresh off a Super Bowl victory.
You know what column headline I saw over the weekend? Malik Willis is the quarterback the Steelers should target.
A lot of people think that. So.
Oh, he's going to have to battle this guy because this guy's he's going to go up to New York or the Meadowlands in New Jersey and drive Justin Fields down to Pittsburgh and push him into the Steelers facility. Sign him.
If Rodgers come back, so
it seems like he's going to be, which is again, like we talked about this last week. It is so funny that might happen because he and McCarthy just like were not on speaking terms at the end of that Packers run.
Right. That's what
And
I
now
remember.
they're both like, yeah, we really kind of miss each other.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure McCarthy has fond memories of Super Bowl 45 when his Packers with Rodgers beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl. So, you know what they say? I don't believe this myself, but in this case, it could be true. They say time heals all wounds. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They're both a couple years older. One of them might be a little bit wiser. I'm not sure about the other.
All right. It's time for Brendan to get a question wrong.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Just give me a second. Okay.
Brendan. See the names there? That's the names.
Okay.
There are 6 quarterbacks to win multiple Super Bowl MVP
I'm just going to lean in
awards.
and watch.
And I could be a complete jerk here and make you name all 6, but you have to name 4 of the 6.
I'm going to start out with Bart Starr,
Correct.
All right.
Eli Manning,
That's his boy. Yep.
Never deserved
Tom
it.
Brady.
Yep.
Come on.
Does he have to get it on 4 tries, or are you giving him like an extra?
If he gets it on 4 tries, I'm going to give him a big hug.
Okay.
Peyton Manning.
Oh!
He didn't win Super Bowl 50 MVP. That was Von Miller.
Von Miller.
You're missing a one that should be fresh in everybody's mind. The guy's won 3 Super Bowl MVPs.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Can you get the other 2 just out of curiosity?
John Elway.
Nope.
Okay.
Terrell Davis got one of those.
Yeah, never mind. We're good.
Don't leave.
Are you going to give him a hug on camera?
Very close to home here.
No, he didn't get it. He had to
Dynasty
go
in the
4
Joe
Joe
for 4.
Montana.
Oh, I thought he
Okay.
did.
Terry Bradshaw.
He got Patrick
Joe
Mahomes
Montana
after
and Terry Bradshaw.
getting it wrong.
Damn.
Oh, he got.
You got 3 without missing one.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But I think you're still at 2 and 3 now, I believe.
Yeah.
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Okay.
How does it feel to get a taste of your own medicine there,
Came
Brendan?
close. Bart Starr. I'm sure you didn't think I was going to pull Bart Starr out.
No, I
so-
thought that would be too old to be cool for you. But anyway, we've covered a ton of basketball between the 3 of us. And Jake, I'm gonna let you delve into your memory bank here, all the papers you've covered it before you came here for this one. But basketball coaches at the college level, you got guys like John Chaney and Bob Knight and obviously Dean Smith, John Calipari, that whole group. But high school basketball coaches can have some pretty radical personalities, or they can leave some pretty extreme impressions with people. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to let you think about this for a second. Jake, we're going to go over to you because I know you've covered basketball in multiple places. I've covered it in like literally 2 places. So what coaches stick out for you and why?
So I'm going to go with 2 from Central PA. Pat Dieter, who is the former Boiling Springs boys basketball coach and longtime AD there. He died on the operating table during a district playoff game of theirs in 2019, I think it was. He was a very interesting dude who would be tough to kind of get to know at first, and he gave a lot of reporters not a hard time, but just was like closed off to them for about a year or 2. And then he would randomly, when I kind of knew he was cool with me, and not that we're trying to be best friends with coaches or anything like that, but when I knew that he was comfortable talking with me, was he started giving me crap about the Temple Owls, like just losing basketball games. And I would look at him and be like, Pat, I haven't watched any of their games all season. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, well, they just lost to whoever. I was like, go figure. They kind of suck this year. So when he started giving me a hard time, I knew he was pretty good with me. And he would randomly, from that point on, he would like kind of randomly call me up periodically, and we would talk for sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes an hour. I miss covering him. He was always colorful, entertaining, like one of those old school coaches who could be really tough to deal with at times, but also just super entertaining when he was in a good mood. And it wasn't one of those where like, even after a loss, you couldn't talk to him. He would talk to you after a loss, but he would be grumpy because he didn't like losing. The other one, and this is going to be a little bit of a different situation, is Ty Savercool, who was at Cedar Cliff around the same time coaching boys. He's now coaching the Northern York boys. I am picking him here in this situation because of 2 things. One, he became kind of famous in the area for wearing a different Christmas-themed suit in their last game before the Christmas holiday break. So he'd have like a Santa Claus one on. He'd have this like really like kind of the ugly sweater but suit look another year. I think there was an elf one year. He had 3 or 4 by the time I left. And then the other reason I liked dealing with him is we did a series in Carlisle for about a year called Mallory Tries, where my girlfriend and now wife would shoot a video, and we would do several of these throughout the year of her trying different skills in sports. So the first one we did was learning how to kick a field goal, which is a great video in itself because the very first attempt, our photographer lines up the camera to 1.5 feet away from the football, like to the side, like at an angle, because he wants to get this super close up. And I'm like, Jason, you need to move that back. She could like accidentally kick the camera. He's like, no, we'll be good. Very first kick, straight into the camera lens. Thankfully, it was fine, and it became a really funny blooper. But we went to Cedar Cliff boys basketball later that year, and the team taught her how to take a charge. Well, they didn't do a very good job of it because they forgot to teach her how to take a fall, which is like the first thing. So she would just like kind of fall. Shouldn't lean away from the mic. She would kind of fall over without putting her hands to brace herself. So she gave herself a concussion because she's hitting the hard one. They didn't like, you know how in basketball you see the kid take the charge and they'll kind of like slide on their butt.
Yeah.
They never taught her that part of it. They just taught her how to like take the fall.
Crack your head off the court.
And I'm talking with Ty on the side for another story for a little bit at this. And we see her like whacking her head a couple of times. And he's like, guys, put a pad down.
She's like getting up, walking around woozy.
So he was a good one. I enjoyed talking with him over the years too. He was much younger than Pat, so like a different vibe. But both of them, there was a bunch of other coaches in that area too that were great, and some of them are still around. But those are 2 that I'll mention today.
4.5 years on the job here, Brennan. Who stands out for you?
One of the first coaches,
specifically basketball here.
One of the first coaches that comes to mind is actually when I was in college at Slippery Rock. Bobby McGraw, the women's coach for Slippery Rock, or former women's coach. He also passed away unexpectedly. I think it was 2021, 22. His brother is Knoch's girls head coach now.
Shane. Yeah.
He was always really animated, cared a lot about his teams, so where like I would go in the office and after a loss or after a tough loss, he would cry, and he was very like emotionally, he wore his emotions on his sleeve. Really good guy. I think he was a former state trooper. So you'd expect like a former state trooper to be like very like tough and cold and stone faced, and he always let you know what he was feeling, which I thought was pretty cool. And then dating back to my time in high school, I remember I reached out to Matt Clement to write a preview on his basketball team, and I guess he never saw the email, never got back to me. So I didn't get to talk to him in high school. I go all the way through college. I start here, and I remember the first few times covering them, like, this guy is a former major league pitcher. So like there's that like reputation that precedes him, and you're like, especially newer, you're a little nervous to talk to someone of that stature. And throughout the years of covering him, like there hasn't been a time where he's been upset after a game. Well, he's been upset, but he doesn't like show it to you. Like he talks to you exactly like how he would if you won the game. And he's also very open and honest and upfront, which I appreciate. Then Molly Rotman, something that stands out, the North Catholic coach you've mentioned a few times already on the show. I was covering one of their playoff games. It was deep into the state playoffs. They lost, and you could tell she was upset. And it's me, Post-Gazette reporters there, Trib reporter, like it's like 5 of us. And I'm standing there and waiting to talk to her, and she knows the other guys are there, and she like invites me in to talk to her, like because I'd covered them a few games, like I was covering their whole run, and it just seemed like she appreciated that, and like she was showing her appreciation by these guys are all waiting. She's like, hey, like you can come talk to me, and obviously they all like trickle over, but I got a few questions in, and I'm like the newer reporter too, where these guys are like falling over each other to get questions in. I'm not asking questions in the scrum yet because I'm like I don't know these people, like I don't want to interject, and I thought that was really cool. So more so mine is appreciation for coaches treating people like people, no matter if they're like a newer reporter or someone that like isn't as experienced. I've always found that to be pretty cool.
RESPECT is what you're saying.
Yes.
Find out what it means to me. Anyway, Knoch, Mars boys, their former coach. I've only covered them I think once since Kobe Phillippe's been their coach. he's a great guy, soft-spoken, but he knows that you're there to do a job. He gives you what you need. Their former coach, who was there for, 25 years, I want to say, Rob Carmody. Of course, he had two sons go through the program, Michael and Robbie. I can't say this about a lot of coaches. I mean, if a coach, you talk to a coach after a game that's decided by a last-second bucket, either way, win or lose, you can get some good quotes that way. I can honestly say that with Rob Carmody, no matter how the game turned out, won or lost at the buzzer, won or lost by 30 points, he could literally give me a quote that you can kind of form a story around, no matter how the game turned out. And I always appreciated that because, let's face it, there are games that you're going to cover that there's going to be so much drama in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and the game's decided late, and those kind of stories, we always kind of say they write themselves. Mm-hmm. It's just us putting a little bit of verbiage to it, a couple conjunctions, boom, it's written. But there's also games that are 30, 35-point blowouts. Sometimes in our team's favor, sometimes against them. Rob Carmody always gave me a quote that I could literally use as a foundation for the story, and that's why I enjoyed covering Mars all those years. He got the team to 2 state championships. They lost both of them, but those rides were fun because not only great talent, but you knew a coach was going to be ready with a good quote that you could put in a story that was going to have an impact on your story.
I'll never forget the night of the false alarm shooting. When Mars played South Fayette, it went 3 overtimes, just an incredible game, back and forth. I wasn't even playing, and my heart was racing covering it just because of everything that was going on, knowing that it was going to be hard to wrap up. And in the middle of talking to South Fayette's coach, and someone says someone has a gun upstairs, everyone runs and hides, and the emotional roller coaster that night was crazy. But I do remember stepping into the locker room after all of the Mars kids are gone, everyone's kind of trickled out, and I'm sitting there with Rob Carmody. I'm like, what do we even talk about here? We talk about the game. Do we talk about what happened? Do we talk about security measures? And we ended up having a good conversation. He did give me a good quote that night. I forget what it was, but I remember I was like, okay, so I'm definitely talking about the safety measures in this. Which every time I go to a game still, if I walk through a metal detector, there's an appreciation for walking through them and be like, they care. If there's the safety of the fans here. And I felt like after that, a lot of schools around here would pick that up, but not as many have as I thought they would. But yeah, that was probably one of the most memorable nights I'll have as a reporter.
That was your first year here, right? I mean, you were kind of throwing the fire there.
I think it was my second. Crazy. It was my first year living in Butler, living on my own. So I think it was my second basketball season. But yeah, John asked afterwards, he's like, can you go to Sheets and write a 10-inch story? I'm like, well, I guess it's going to be hard to sum that story or sum that game up in 10 inches, but we'll figure it out. The news
side wants the gun angle, and John is a sports editor. He wanted the game angle. So we got both out of you that night.
I earned some points that night, I think.
What a welcome to the big leagues moment for you.
Scariest night of my life.
Next week, we'll actually have some playoff results to talk about.
We will.
So tune in next week. We'll see you then. We encourage you to subscribe to the Butler Eagle YouTube channel and Apple or Spotify podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Alter Eagle Podcast and at Butler Eagle News. Goodbye.